What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G. Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the March 18th, 2024 edition of Raw Talk. Megan Morant, Sam Roberts in the studio, opening up the episode, replaying the opening segment with Jay and Jimmy exchanging words ahead of their WrestleMania match in a couple of weeks. They also run down the biggest headlines from Monday's show. An overall really good show, I thought, actually, doing a really effective job of progressing the stories on the road to WrestleMania, featuring some quality action as well. Really enjoyed the 3 hours on Monday night. They replay Ricochet and Dominic Mysterio with Ricochet beating Dominic. I didn't quite get that one. That kind of felt like the weakest part of the show to me, kind of a filler matchup. They're obviously telling a story between the two, but Ricochet hasn't been relevant in forever. I mean, that is one way to rebuild him back up, is with a win. But I would rather see Dominic win if they're building to Dominic teaming with Andrade or facing Andrade. Doesn't quite make sense to me to have Ricochet beat Dominic, but whatever. They recap, or rather preview, Ricochet and JD McDonough for next week. And that was another thing, too. So they had Ricochet beat Dominic on Raw. Dominic has more credibility than JD McDonough. So why would you have him beat Dominic first and then build the Ricochet and JD McDonough next week? That also doesn't quite make sense to me. They replay the Cody Rhodes, Paul Heyman promo exchange. Really good stuff there, I thought, from those two on Raw. They hype up Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns seemingly going face-to-face alone on SmackDown this Friday. They replay the Intercontinental Championship contract signing with Gunther and Sami Zayn. Again, another really, really good promo segment, I thought. They hype up Gunther and Sami Zayn for WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. Sam Roberts says this is not Rocky. They're going to be in Philadelphia for WrestleMania. Sami Zayn feels like he's the ultimate underdog. He's got a chance. And according to Sam Roberts, he doesn't. It's not Rocky. Just because we're in Philly, this is not the ultimate underdog story. Gunther will reign supreme again. And honestly, I hope he does. If only to set up Chad Gable as an opponent for Gunther at some other point down the road. And Gable can beat him, but I'm not quite confident that's going to happen. We hear from Bronson Reed quite randomly afterward, backstage here. He hasn't been on Raw in a few weeks. Or no, he was on Raw last week, actually, as part of the Gauntlet. Prior to that point, we had not seen him on Raw because he was gone for a few weeks because of his wife giving birth, which is great. Congrats to him on that. Clearly no plans for him on the road to WrestleMania, unfortunately. But still, I mean, it's pretty cool. They had him here talk about, what's coming up and what's going through his head, and how he mentioned how 2024 has not gone the way that he planned. Being left off of Elimination Chamber, probably being left off of WrestleMania. He's got a new driving force in his life now, talking about his, newly born kid. And he's sick of being a vehicle for others to get to their destinations. And now he's going where he wants to go, and no one's going to stop him. So, thought this was a really good promo from Bronson. It would have been even better if this aired on Raw itself. I mean, I don't know where it's going to go, but I feel like we've been in the same spot with Bronson, the same position, the same, dead-end booking with him for a while, where they kind of have him win a few matches, but not really win whenever it matters most. And that's hurt him in the long run. So hopefully they really do have a plan for him coming out of WrestleMania. I'm not confident, though, because I thought that a year ago, and he really has not done much of note since. So time will tell. They replay Candice and Indy Hartwell beating Chance and Carter in tag team action. Candice once again getting nasty and vicious on Chance and Carter, kind of furthering the heel turn there. They show a segment that I don't think aired on Raw. I think this was exclusive to Raw Talk, which is pretty cool. Maybe it was a .com exclusive. I'm not sure. But Indy brought Candice to Maxine backstage to apologize for what Candice said to Maxine last week about being terrible in the ring, her dead brother, all this other sort of stuff. Candice did apologize, and then Maxine said, yeah, no, it was really hurtful when you mentioned that I didn't belong here and all this other sort of stuff. And Candice was like, no, I don't want to apologize for that. So maybe she was apologizing for the dead brother comment, but not the fact that she's rotten. And then Maxine walks off. Ivy Nile comes to Maxine's aid, shoves Candice, and challenges her to a match next week. So then they cut to an interview with Jackie Redmond and Ivy Nile in the back. So I thought the whole way they executed this was really well done, showing the angle with Maxine getting bullied by Candice again, Ivy Nile coming to her aid, getting a chance to respond. So Ivy Nile says that, listen, I'm just coming to the aid of a friend. Maxine's a friend to me. She's still new at this. And while she's busy improving, Candice is too busy complaining to take notice of that, blah, blah, blah. She says that she's going to give the hurt to Candice that Candice has been dishing out for a couple of weeks now. All the hurt that Candice has been dishing out verbally, she's going to dish out physically next week on Raw. So they preview Ivy Nile versus Candice for next week's Raw. I like the angle they're brewing here. Really well done. They replay New Day versus Alpha Academy from Raw, where New Day punched their ticket to WrestleMania in the undisputed WWE Tag Team title ladder match with a win over Alpha Academy, Akira Tozawa and Otis. We hear from New Day after the fact. Kofi says that A lot of people underestimate Alpha Academy as a team because they're kind of a joke team, obviously. But Kofi says with the performance they had, they earned their respect. Woods says the biggest advantage they had over Alpha Academy in this match was experience. And if they can continue to go out there and team and do their thing, then they can also kind of become a great team and continue to improve and stuff like that. And then Kathy Kelly acknowledges that they have never won a match as a team at WrestleMania. That Xavier Woods has never won a match at WrestleMania. Kofi has won one match at WrestleMania. I find that really hard to believe, but I think it is true, though. I don't think New Day has ever won a single match together at WrestleMania, which is especially... I've never really thought about that before, but they've been around for a decade, have appeared and competed at almost every single WrestleMania, and they've never won a single fucking time. I mean, quickly to recap, Mania 31, they were involved in a tag team title match in the show. I think it was on the pre-show, but they lost that match. 32, they were on the show against League of Nations. Oddly lost. Had no business losing that match, but they lost. League of Nations broke up the next night anyway, so that's what makes that decision all the more puzzling in retrospect, and even at the time. They lost that match. 33, they hosted, so they didn't wrestle. 34, they walked in as tag team champions, I believe, but it was the Bludgeon Brothers, Harper and Rowan, that won the championships that night. 35, Kofi. The one win that Kathy Kelly was referring to was when Kofi became WWE champion 5 years ago. He won on that show. Big E and Xavier Woods did not wrestle. They just celebrated with Kofi after the fact. Mania 36, they were involved in a triple threat tag team title ladder match. It turned into a singles match due to COVID. I think it was Kofi in that match, but it was The Miz that won for his team with John Morrison. It might have been John Morrison in the match. It was John Morrison on behalf of his team because Miz got COVID or something. So they did not win on that show either. 37, what did they do at 37? They lost the Raw tag team titles to AJ Styles and Omos. 38, they lost to the Brawling Brutes in tag team action. And then last year, they weren't on the show because Kofi was hurt, Big E's been out hurt for a few years, and Woods was not on the show. So, yeah, they've never won at WrestleMania as a team, which is kind of fucking crazy. You would think, oh, this might be the year. It's not. Woods even says, oh, this might be the year. We've walked in as champions, never left as champions, and that is a correct statement. That is a correct fact, an accurate stat. I don't think this is the year. I think it's either Awesome Truth or DIY. I don't even really want to see New Day win the belts at WrestleMania. I like New Day, but been there, done that. I would much rather see a newer team, and I know Awesome Truth isn't exactly a newer team, but they've never been tag team champions together before. Not only that, but they're doing the whole Judgment Day, Judgment Day Awesome Truth angle now for months, and it probably should pay off with an Awesome Truth win at WrestleMania. That to me would make the most sense. But yeah, Kofi said they still have goals. They've been around for a decade as a team, and they still have goals, and that is to win at WrestleMania. So, kind of crazy they've never won at WrestleMania before. I guess that would include Kofi's singles record as well. I don't know if he ever had a singles match at Mania before Mania 35. Like, I'm trying to think. He's been involved in a few Money in the Bank ladder matches, tag team matches at, 27, 28, 29. I don't even think he was on that show. 30, he was in the Andre Battle Royal. 31 was the New Day. So yeah, I don't think Kofi's ever even been in a singles match at Mania beyond the 35 match where he won the WWE Championship, which again is pretty crazy. So anyway, to close out the show here, they replay Becky Lynch and Nia Jax from Raw. Really good last moment standing match. Becky Lynch winning that one. Great closing stretch there before facing off with Rhea Ripley to close that show. They preview Becky Lynch versus Ripley for the Women's World Championship at WrestleMania. They hype up CM Punk's Raw return for next week. They plug Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, Natalya, and... not LeRae, I'm sorry. I wrote down LeRae. It was Chelsea Green. They plug Gargano, Chelsea Green, and I'm not going to do it the way that Samantha Irvin says it. Natalya and Liv Morgan for the bump on Wednesday, because it's International... No, it was International Women's Day a couple of weeks ago. It's Women's Month. National Women's Month or whatever. In March. So they're celebrating that on the bump on Wednesday, which is cool. So that was it for Raw Talk for Monday night on March 18th, 2024. Solid stuff here. I really like the interviews that we got from New Day, that we got from, who was the other person? New Day, Bronson Reed, Ivy Nile. Really good stuff here. It kind of feels like the freedom and promo work, like the improved promos even on Raw and SmackDown that we're getting lately, have also kind of bled over to the talk shows as well. Not like Morant and Roberts, but like the actual superstars talking about what's going on, what they have coming up. The promos are a lot better, and it's made this show more fun to tune into, so I appreciate that. Thank you guys for checking out my review for this week. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Have an awesome one, folks. I'm Graham G. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.